I'm going to keep this straightforward because I know a lot of people sit down at a desk and wonder whether the next chair they spend a few $100s on will actually make a difference in their day-to-day work. The hesitation usually comes from three places: the fear of buying a chair that looks good but doesn't support you, the worry that you'll end up overpaying for something you'll barely notice, and the risk of committing to a design that ends up feeling cramped or too big for your space. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Steelcase Leap Plus isn't just another name on a catalog, it's a seat that sits at the intersection of the brand's long-standing ergonomic research and a design language that's been refined for years. If you've ever tried a regular office chair and found yourself constantly adjusting your posture, or if you've dealt with a back that aches after a few hours, the LiveBack technology in this model is meant to respond to the natural curve of your spine as you move. What that means in practice is that you won't have to keep reaching for the lumbar knob every 15 minutes. You'll feel the chair shift subtly as you lean forward, sit back, or swivel to grab something on the other side of your desk. For a typical remote work setup, I've seen people place a dual monitor rig on a desk that's about a foot wide, with a keyboard tray and a small notebook for quick ideas. In that scenario, the natural glide system becomes more than a smooth-moving seat. It lets you glide forward to type without feeling a sudden jolt when you hit the edge of the chair's range. A friend of mine, who spends 8 to 9 hours a day on spreadsheets, told me he could roll a few inches forward, type, then glide back without the usual hard stop that forces you to readjust your posture. That small detail can shave seconds off every movement, adding up to a less tiring workflow. One of the biggest practical concerns people have is whether the chair will fit a larger frame. The Leap Plus is marketed as a wider, higher-capacity version of the standard Leap, and the Platinum base does give it a more substantial footprint. If you're on the taller side or you tend to spread out while you work, maybe you have a big monitor arm, a phone dock, and a notebook holder, the extra seat depth and higher back can accommodate you without feeling cramped. However, that same extra width means the chair takes up a bit more floor space. In a cramped home office where you're squeezing a desk into a corner, you might find the footprint a little generous. I've seen that trade-off in a couple of small apartment setups where people had to shift the desk a few inches away from a wall just to let the chair swing freely. Price is always a sticking point. The Leap Plus sits in a premium price bracket that many home office buyers balk at, especially when there are cheaper ergonomic options on the market. The value, though, isn't just in the brand name. It's in the fact that Steelcase has been iterating on the LiveBack mechanism for years, fine-tuning the tension curves and the way the backrest reacts to micro-movements. In real use, that translates to a back that feels supportive whether you're leaning forward into a coding session or reclining while you're on a conference call. You won't notice the difference if you only sit for an hour or two a day, but for someone who's logging 6 to 8 hours, that consistent support can be the difference between a sore neck at night and waking up feeling refreshed. Who should consider buying this chair? If you're a professional who spends the majority of your day at a desk, writers, designers, programmers, or anyone who does a lot of virtual meetings, this chair is built for you. It also makes sense for people who have already outgrown standard office chairs because of height or weight considerations. The Leap Plus has a higher weight limit and a broader seat, which means you won't feel squeezed after a while. If you've already invested in a good desk and accessories, pairing them with a chair that actually moves with you can round out the ergonomics of your entire setup. On the flip side, if you're someone who works in short bursts, maybe a freelance photographer who only spends a couple of hours a day at a laptop, or you have a very tight workspace where every inch counts, the Leap Plus might be overkill. You could end up paying a premium for features you'll never fully utilize, like the advanced glide system or the full range of tilt tension adjustments. Also, if you prefer a minimalist aesthetic with a low-profile seat, the Platinum base and the slightly larger silhouette might clash with a sleek, modern desk that's meant to look almost floating. Another practical aspect that often gets missed in glossy product photos is the ease of assembly. The Leap Plus arrives